Welcome back to Everlasting Summer Part 26, I believe. And we were last left off with Slavya and Xenia in their cabin, packing with Slavya. So, yeah. See a context, blah blah blah. Yeah. Yes, we're packing. I see. It's a good thing I didn't come 10 minutes later, or I would have disturbed your packing. Slavya blushed and kept on stuffing her things inside the bag anxiously. What's up, heroic lover boy? I don't remember Xenia's voice anymore. This is a problem. Oh, man. That form of address gave me the creeps. What? Nothing. She stared at me intently for some time. Watch it. Now more than just yourself depends on your choices. I didn't reply, and with those words, Xenia left the cabin. What did she mean? I think you can never know for sure. And yet, well, I wanted to talk to you about it myself. I was able to start, but then... But what? Slavya looked at me carefully. It's just, today we're leaving, right? Right. And we will move back to our cities. Well, yeah. And when will I see you again? Slavya grew thoughtful. I don't know. I don't know either. But you could write me letters. She smiled, but her smile didn't bring me peace of mind. Yes, of course, but you know, that's not the same. What is it then? Can I go with you? I decided to take a chance and speak plainly. And what will you do there? Slavya seemed to not be surprised, but a bit vexed. Studying, my parents, and what will people say? I wasn't thinking about the opinion. I wasn't thinking about the opinions of other people, and to be honest, they didn't worry me much. Well, we can always find a way. What way? Her voice has changed too. Shit. Well then, we'll think of something. Semyon, you're too young for this. In fact, I'm not. So what? Maybe after some time. How much time do you need? A year? 2 years? 5? You say it as if... I don't know. She seemed confused. So everything that happened here was just a holiday romance? I started getting angry. No, of course not. Just... what? I'm not ready to discuss it right now. Let's talk about it later. When later? We only have a couple hours left till departure. Slavya said nothing and continued to pack her things. You had to ruin the moment, dude. Come on. You guys could have been... packing. I'd expected almost any kind of reaction from her, but not this. In fact, she just pushed me away. This feels like the bad ending. Turns out she doesn't need to continue our relationship, so I'm not that important to her. You think it's only complicated for you. Seems to me that it's hard for you too, but for some reason, you don't think so. And what if I told you that I don't have a place to go back to? That since last Monday there is no more life for me, and I have to start from scratch? I don't know. Why is it now that I'm suddenly getting sick? What the hell? I was fine 4 minutes ago. That doesn't sound very reasonable. And it shouldn't, but it's true. And then what? Please explain. I came to this camp by accident. Actually, I'm from another time, perhaps from another world. From the beginning of the 21st century. And I'm older than I seem. I don't really know how I got here. Slavya stared at me, but said nothing. The moments dragged on endlessly. I waited for her to laugh at me, to call me sick, or something even worse. And why are you telling me all of this? She finally asked quietly. I want you to understand my situation. But it just sounds stupid. Of course, if I were you, I would react the same way. And what do you expect from me? I don't know. I just felt that I needed to confess. I'm not saying that you're lying, and I don't think you're crazy, but you have to understand, I can't just accept it. Yes, I understand. I just thought that it would help you to understand my situation and my motivation for my actions. It didn't, to be honest. I sighed in frustration. And my opinion hasn't changed. But you'd better be off. You need to pack your stuff or you'll be late. Let's talk later. I wasn't going to argue. If Slavya hasn't changed her mind after my confession, then it's pointless to press on right now. I wonder if one of the girls will finally actually accept that. Distressed, I shuffled off to Olga's cabin. The camp leader stood at the doorstep and looked like she was waiting for me. Why are you so gloomy? Did something happen? No, nothing. Just came to pack my things. Oh, come on. Let it out. You might feel better. Well... How do you think I can prove that I'm telling the truth to somebody who doesn't believe me? Are you absolutely sure that you're telling the truth? Absolutely. Then perhaps they might just need time to consider. Except there's no time left. Then I don't know. She shrugged her shoulders in dismay. Well, it's something at least. I tossed my winter clothing into a bag and headed to the bus stop. If a couple of days ago I had seen the Icarus standing at the gate of the camp and waiting for pioneers, I would have been the happiest person in this reality. But right now, I wasn't in the mood to rejoice. There was still plenty of time left until the bus departure time. I sat down on the curb and buried my head in my hands. Isn't it C-U-R-B? Because K-E-R-B is like a Kerbal from Kerbal Space Program. Right? I've never seen it spelt curb except in this game. Curb, spelt like that. Why so sad? A familiar voice pulled me out of my thoughts. Just had a fight with Slavya? You could say that. And what's the reason? She doesn't believe that I'm an alien from the future. I smiled ironically. I wouldn't believe it either, said Lena seriously. If I were in your shoes, neither would I. It's not a big deal. You'll make up from a quarrel. Yeah, but there's not much time left to. Left to what? To make the right choice. After a while, the whole camp assembled together at the bus stop. Everyone's here? Began Olga. You're leaving the camp today, and I'd like to tell you something in parting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. Can I just point out, I still don't have eyes. Second, my alarm is going off. There we go. I'm not even sure if you could actually hear that or not, but... Has it really only been 8 minutes? Feels like longer. I hope that you'll remember the time you've spent here for a lifetime, and that you'll retain only pleasant memories about Slavyanik. No one's correcting me on how I'm pronouncing Slavyanik, so I think I'm pronouncing it right. Go me. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something, and found new friends. Just come back next year. The camp leader turned away. It seemed she was trying to hold back her tears. I didn't expect her to get so emotional. I didn't expect her to have emotions. Although her speech sounded like a complete nonsense to me, as usual. Of course, this is where I met Slavya, but now we were going through a tough time, and what will happen next is absolutely unclear. So I didn't care about whether I'll miss this place, and Olga, or not. Unlikely. When the pioneers started to get on the bus, I pushed through the crowd to Slavya. Let's sit together. Okay, she said quietly. I even thought that I saw a shadow of a smile on her face. There's a lot of people here I never met. The bus flew across the expanses of my new world. Outside, fields followed forests, and then calm rivers and highlands. I felt as familiar with all this as if it was my own homeland. Anyway, the surroundings were the least of my concerns now. I was trying hard to find the right words to start a conversation. We'd just been sitting there, probably for a couple of hours, but all attempts to strike up a conversation had ended with one-worded answers. Forget about what I said before. I don't want to make excuses or say that it's not true. Just now, most important thing to me is you. I understand. She looked at me carefully. Even if I sometimes act the wrong way and talk nonsense. Regardless, the main thing for me now is to be with you, and it always will be. I understand that I acted too recklessly and planned stupid ventures, but we can try to make everything right, together, you and me. Slavya was still gazing at me. Do you realize that it will be Do you realize that it will be difficult? You can't just run blindly into the dark, because then there will be so many problems that we won't be able to solve. Running into the dark and the unknown is the best way to do it. Yes, I understand that now. But for you, I am prepared for anything. She didn't say a word, but just kissed me gently and put her head on my shoulder. Oh. It definitely meant yes. I didn't want to bother her anymore. Let her sleep. The point is that Slavya finally understood me. Understood what she means to me. She realized that I'll do anything for her sake. For her sake. And even if I'm overreacting or deciding too early, she's ready to put me on the right path. The path that we'll walk together. Night started to claim its rights and the bus settled down to sleep. At first I tried to fight it, but there is any use in enduring and wasting my efforts when the future had finally become crystal clear for me. My eyes shut just for a moment. Oh no, don't do it! Day the end. Okay, so since we're probably back at our apartment, most likely, and this is going to be close to the end of the look at the arrows, they've changed. This is probably going to be the end of this route. I don't think I'm going to end this episode at 30 minutes in. I think I'm just going to keep going till we reach the end, and then we'll be starting Lena's route on Friday. Right? Sound like a good plan to you guys? If you don't want to, you can stop at 30 and... yeah, but... There are dreams that you don't want to wake up from. It's like one is floating down a warm river towards a place far beyond the horizon, blissfully watching the vain world, hidden behind the clouds. The past is left behind. Its echoes do not tear your soul. And the future is right here. You just have to reach out. It doesn't matter what is awaiting you there. The very process of immersing yourself in this fairy world of serenity and happiness is itself much more important. I've always believed that the universe was once in this state, and one day it will return to it again. Our life is just a blink of an eye, just a second in comparison to the universe. The birth and death of stars is a minute, and those of galaxies are hours. But even all of that, all put together, will not even be a day. Nobody thinks how to live each specific second, so does it really matter what each drop of us in a stormy river running beyond the horizon of existence does? What is all this sprouting from? I opened my eyes and stretched blissfully. I had no desire to stand up, as I felt like I was in perfect bliss, muffled in a blanket. After all, I don't have to go anywhere. As usual, actually. And I don't have any plans, so why shouldn't I just sleep? I rolled over and stared at the old worn wallpaper covering the curved wall. I wonder how long ago the last time they renovated this room was. And why does here have wallpaper instead of bare wood anyway? Is that a thing in Russia? Just rooms have bare wood? Vague warming bells began ringing somewhere deep in my mind. Warming bells or warning bells? Sorry, I had to sneeze. If you could even tell that I was muted there. I threw the blanket away, jumped up, and furiously began looking around. Yeah, that was definitely warning bells, not warming. Yes, I was in my flat again. At first, I was paralyzed. The shock was so strong that my brain was unable to process what was going on. I just stood and gazed on the screen of the monitor on the table opposite of me. I couldn't think. I even forgot to breathe. Finally, my mind began to clear. What happened anyway? I fell asleep on the bus, going to the district center. Yeah, something like that. And Slavya was sitting by my side. And now I'm back here? Seems like during the week I spent there in the camp, I had gotten so used to the fact that I'd never returned to my previous life, that now I just had no idea how to react to all this. After all, at first my main wish was to get home. But in the end, everything was like a bad movie. At last, I had come back, but I'm still shocked. No, I felt no fear. I was rather interested and upset. After all, I'd already made up my mind to start a new life with Slavya, leaving all my problems behind: insults, suffering, self-examination, unfinished affairs, and plans for the future. Obviously that life could not be worse than this one, at least. But there's no returning to it now. On the other hand, if someone had told me a week ago that I would be sent into a different world just like that, in the blink of an eye, I would not have believed him. So what makes such a fantastic event happening again so impossible? Moving my legs with difficulty, I went to the kitchen, got a glass of water, and returned to the room. The ice-cold liquid was a disgusting aftertaste of bleaching powder, revived me to some degree. Now I have to decide what to do next. Suddenly, I realized that I could not bear the silence. After turning the computer on, I launched a random song in the player and managed to calm down somewhat. And seriously speaking, what can I do? Recently, I realized that absolutely nothing is up to me. By someone's will, I was pulled out of my usual world and then sent back. No answers were found during the week in the camp. What's the point in speculating now? Must forget everything that happened, like a bad dream. Maybe those were just hallucinations. I don't really care now. The only thing that prevented me from completely forgetting this short period of my life was Slavya. I recalled her smile, and all the time we spent together. From the meeting on the very first day to the night in the forest and our departure from the camp. My heart furiously jumped into my chest. It wasn't in your chest in the beginning? Spreading oppressive pain all throughout my body. I liked her at first sight. So gentle, caring, understanding. Just like that anime heroine. Heroine? What was her name? Slavya? The one who helped an antisocial fellow like me deal with depression. Slavya? And if you think about it, there's no such people in real life. Slavya asked nothing in return, needed no encouragement, never expected to be understood or praised for her work. She just was being herself, a girl that could not exist in real life. If you think clearly, that's really exactly what she was. Seems like I've seen one single week-long dream. About the pioneer camp, Soviet teenagers and their camp leader. About warm summer nights and gathering around a fire. About light-hearted children's games and simple human joys. About one moment that lasted a week and the everlasting summer. But not just seen. I've been there. I was a part of everything. My eyes unwillingly filled with tears. Not tears of pain or despair, tears of sorrow and bright melancholy. Even if everything is over, I experienced something that most people could never even dream about. Slavya's image flashed in my head, brighter and brighter. I would love so much for her to return from that camp with me. Maybe I have nothing to offer her now, but my entire life is still ahead of me. I guess I learned a lot of useful lessons from these events. I couldn't help thinking that it all seems too perfect, like it was written according to some simple plan. A loser hero, a fantastic incident, and a wonderful transformation. I guess it's not possible. Not in this life. Will I become the person I was before only a day or week later? Well, it's the most realistic course of events. One thing's for sure, I'll never be able to go back. Maybe next winter. About a month has passed since I returned from Slavya, or to say more correctly, since I woke up. Ugh. I returned to my usual life as a loner, surfing the internet for days. Going outside only to shop, as expected, it began to suit me again. Well, obviously, moments of melancholy and depression occurred. A person like me can't do without them, but they lasted no longer than usual. Except these times when, while sleeping, I returned in that summer, that mysterious camp. But after awakening, I tried to banish these thoughts as soon as possible. After all, what's the point in dreaming of becoming a wizard? That's the point of dreams. They don't have to be realistic. Even if miracles happen, and now is proof that they do, they happen completely independent of us. The word sweet doesn't give you a sweet taste, regardless of how often you pronounce it. But nevertheless, something has changed in my existence. Formerly, I didn't think ahead. Didn't really care how long I would live, whether 1 week or 40 years. But now, I looked forward to it with optimism. Not like I tried to change anything, or to become a different person, but the world now seemed more understandable. Not simple, not friendly, no, not friendly at all, but just understandable. Before I just couldn't cope with some events or facts, though I kind of realized that they were there for a reason. Now I started seeing life in something simpler. What happens, happens for the best. What happens, happens for the best. Or at least it happens, and I can live with that. And if I can't, I'm powerless in that case. I guess I started smiling more often, or at least I didn't carry that look of deep universal frustration 24/7. Even my acquaintances, on the internet obviously, noticed some change in me, and their opinions agreed that these changes are good. Now I think I am ready to live on, thanks to Slavya and its inhabitants. Without them, I wouldn't be able. It was the beginning of January. The city had barely recovered from the New Year hangover. The streets were almost empty during the day, not to mention the nights, when only the stranger walking down the street seemed extremely busy with some business, rushing somewhere for a reason that couldn't wait. I had no such reason, I just decided to have a little walk. It's necessary to get some fresh air sometimes. A winter's night is the best time to be alone with yourself. I always thought that true solitude can be felt in a crowd rather than in a burning hot desert, boundless plain, or on top of a mountain covered with snow. In the stream of people, words, thoughts, and aspirations everyone had in the stream of people, words, thoughts, and aspirations, everyone had their own aim and direction. And I was the only one strolling among them, deserving no attention from others. Maybe they're like vectors, moving in different directions? They never meet at Cartesian coordinates. It's the same thing here. These people are walking, running in one direction, and I'm dragging along in the other. But did I feel lonely? Before, yes. But now? Highly unlikely. In the bright, blinding lights of the city, the noise of cars and swirling crowds, I enjoyed a heavenly symphony of silence. But now the situation is slightly different. There's just me in the streets. There's just me in the street. So I'm alone, not only with my own self, but within the whole world. Being a sand grain in a desert is not the same thing as being a water drop in an ocean. In the crowd, nobody noticed me. Nobody paid any attention, but now everyone who peeks out the window or sees me while driving past will think, why can't he just stay home? Maybe he has some urgent matter. Suppose he's mad. Or is he drunk? I never like standing out from the crowd when it's not appropriate, so opposing society was never an option for me. But now it was different. As if I tried to tell everybody, look, I can be happy too. You need your TV and your hot chocolate, but I just need the snow, the night, a dark room, and a dull monitor stuffy nose, and a dull monitor screen. Look, and I'm not any worse off than you. I felt sadness in my heart, but it was a serene sadness. Do I really need the things that they have and I do not? Maybe I have something much more valuable. It's a good outlook on life. Sorry if this music is loud, I just noticed the volume level over there. I didn't notice how I came to the bus stop of Route 410. This brings back memories. I sat down and rummaged in my pockets, trying to find cigarettes. I just noticed the stove is actually animating. That's the first time I've seen any animating besides the cutscenes in this. That's cool. However, the packet was empty. Fine. I crumpled it up and threw it into the bin. Maybe I'll get healthier. A lonely star was shining in the sky. Today I read on the internet that, according to the calculations of scientists, one of the most beautiful astronomical events has already ceased to exist, and we'll see it only decades later. Maybe this star has already exploded, as well, and now it's only a beautiful image in the night sky, somewhere near a lost planet on the edge of the galaxy. However, why does one and another thing exist? Why does one or another thing exist? Is it simply because it's just there, has a shape, and can be touched? Don't touch a star, dude. You will not... that will not end well. Or is it because we believe that it exists? Why am I so sick? At first thought, the answer is simple. But on the other hand, even if the star is gone, we can still see it and see its cold light. Maybe it helped someone to get out of a snowy winter forest, gave someone hope, or a bit of warmth to someone else. Now the reason we can see it is because light takes time to travel. Could a simple astronomical object that exploded God knows when do all this? Can billions of people believe in something that doesn't really exist? But belief itself never made any object real. At least none that I've ever heard of. The snowfall grew stronger. Oh wow, it actually did. Now it's a real snowstorm. You call this a snowstorm? You must live very far south. Which, judging by all the snow on the ground, doesn't look like it. Sorry. Midnight. Just midnight. I was about to leave, but suddenly someone emerged from the solid white veil and ran under the bus stop roof. It was clearly a girl, as she had a long ponytail hanging out of her hood. Yeah, because that means it's a girl. She stood with her back to me, so I couldn't make out her face. Excuse me, has the last bus already left? Why is she British? She's British. Okay, well, she'll be British. Whatever. She asked without turning to me. Where can she be heading to so late? 410 must be the most cursed ride on the city. Not only does it sometimes take people away to another reality, but it can't even arrive when you want it to. There's one more bus coming, just after midnight, I think. Thank you. The smile was clear in her voice. For some time I just sat silently, examining the girl. Finally, she spoke. Where are you going so late? Is it really that interesting for her? Just make small talk, dude, come on. Just having a walk. I answered thoughtfully. And you? Are you here for something important? Well, not really. Just going home. Where do you live? So I can stalk you. I couldn't help asking. Far away, she said vaguely. And I live nearby. It's a good area. I would say that there couldn't be a worse one. I didn't have too many options. You don't like it? Oh god, that voice, just like it. Don't know. I got used to it by now. I think that people can be happy anywhere they want. Perhaps. Well, think of it. People live even by the North Pole, in situations, I mean. And in the Sahara Desert. And in many other places. It's the people themselves that are the most important. It's difficult to disagree with you. My comment sounded so philosophical that I unconsciously smiled. You don't sound too honest to me. Now, why would you say that, madame? She laughed quietly. I think you're a good person. Now, she turned, and I realized why her voice, stature, and everything else seemed familiar to me. Is she not British anymore? Slavya stood in front of me. For a moment, I lost the ability to speak, but just for a moment. Of course, it could just be a girl who looks like Slavya from my dream. Yeah, Slavya only had one long ponytail, not two. Or am I experiencing the strongest deja vu? This city is not a pioneer camp. I am not wearing a uniform, and it's not summer now. Trying to convince myself that it's just an illusion, I decided to ask a question. Have we met before? She carefully inspected me and smiled. I don't think so. But your face seems familiar. Had you ever been to a pioneer camp as a kid? Of course not. She laughed. When I was born, they'd already been disbanded. I can't even remember Slavya's voice already. It's been 30 minutes. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh, right. Although, I had a dream recently. She thought for a second. Me too. I mean, about the pioneer camp. Maybe that's where we met. The girl said seriously. Possibly. By the way, my name is Slavya. Actually, my full name is Slavyana, but everyone calls me Slavya. You can do that too. Why is her voice This is Miku's voice. What am I doing? I'll give up. I just realized I've been doing Miku's voice. Can you guys give me a second? I'm gonna actually watch back another video to see if I can figure out what Slavya's voice sounds like. Oh my god. Alright, I'm back from my adventures, and I found out her voice just sounds like my voice, but higher. I was about to tell her that I know, but then I stopped short. After all, is it that important to know why Slavya from my dream is standing right here, right now in front of me, at this frozen stop of the charmed bus number 410? After all, there are dreams that you don't want to wake up from. And mine is Semyon. What a lovely name. Starts with an S too. Yeah. Really, guy? So, you live far away, don't you? Well, not really. She named the district. I thought it would be somewhere in the south. Why? Don't know. Maybe because you look like a pioneer. Oh, you and your pioneers. Slavya laughed. Maybe we wouldn't ever meet if not for them. Why? Her expression became serious. Just a joke. Listen, do you agree that the world exists because we believe in it? That's like some kind of subjective idealism. Slavya thought for a bit. This school of philosophy became close to me recently. Well, I don't know. I'm not that good with these subjects. What are your subjects then? Nature, history, right? She smiled. Different ones. No doubt. But it's just been a few minutes since we met. But seems like it's been much longer. For some reason, I've got the same feeling. An awkward pause followed. The snowfall had eased, but there was still no bus. I looked at my watch and assumed that it won't arrive at all. Slavya seemed to feel even colder by now, as her cheeks grew more red and her hands were now moving frenetically. I've never heard that word in my life. Frenetically. Trying to warm her body. Seems like the 410 bus is done for today. I guess, she said sadly. If you want. I started, after pulling myself together. What? You can stay at my place. But we've just met. She laughed. She didn't seem frightened even a tiny bit. Yes, I understand, but it's so cold outside. Aren't you afraid? Slavya looked at me playfully. Me? Should I be? Who knows? Who knows? I just suggested it. Don't think anything of that sort. I started to make excuses. I understand. She laughed. If you don't mind, of course. Even though it seemed impossible, she flushed even more. Should we go? Let's wait a bit longer. Maybe it will arrive. And her voice has never been the same again. I don't know why, but it's just not. Okay. So that's where Slavyana came from. I was just like, Slavyana, who's that? That's why. That's her full name. I am a derp face. So, what do you do in your spare time? Slavya asked after a while. Well, work at home, kinda. I just couldn't tell her that I do nothing. Sounds good. Why? No. You have a lot of free time. You don't have to go anywhere, and so on. And you? I asked, trying to change the subject somehow. I'm studying. I'm getting an ethnographer's degree. We got time. Ethnographer. Ethnography is the systematic study of people and cultures. It is designed to explore cultural phenomena where the researcher observes society from the point of view of the subject of the study. Learn something new. Today I learned. What is that? Don't tell me you're gonna teach me what that means already in the game. Never mind. I'll be an Whoa! What was that? I'll be an ecologist. Well, a career to be proud of. We chatted about random things, and the bus was still nowhere to be seen. It was past 1 already. Time passed by so fast. I guess Slavya understood my thoughts. Shall we go? She smiled. Wait, I might have skipped one. Double check. No, okay. I stood up and headed slowly towards my house. She carefully held onto my arm and looked into my eyes. You know, I'm sure that this year will be better than the previous one. They always are. Achievement get, comfy guy. So did I finish? Achievement unlocked, Slavya, good end. I wonder if I would have had Elisa in. Well, we're gonna find out with Elisa's route. 2 routes from now, after Elisa's deck. If Elisa would show up in the real world. Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its own outline, synopsis, contents, key points, and I think I've read this before. Well, it's not wanting to skip properly, so we'll just read through the end. It's only 38 minutes in, so. And there's no book which, if you read it again, would not reveal new details you didn't notice before. Every story has its beginning and its end. Almost every. But this one is far from over. We've got like 6 more endings to go through. Oh god. Black screen, are we? Okay, I'll shut up. Definitely check out this. I'm probably gonna check that out right after. Because I want to see all the guys who helped with developing the game, all the guys who supported us all these years, who kept waiting and believing. Thank you and goodbye. For now. Yeah, you know. Lena's next. We'll see Lena's route. It only took us 10 minutes extra. I like Slavya's route. I always had an inkling towards Slavya from the beginning. And Lena a bit too, but yeah. We never went on with Slavya's route until now. So does that bring us to the beginning? Yes, it does. Alright, so that is it for Slavya's route. We finally finished it, like, what, 10 episodes later? Oh, man. Lena's route should be as bad because the dialogue skip bug should be fixed, hopefully. So, I'll see you all on Friday for Lena's route. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Can you even favorite anymore? I don't think you can. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.